Hey guys, it's Josh here. This is a bit of a one-take review of my KTM 990 Adventure. I haven't done a video for such a long time on bikes. The last one I did was a little review of a Yamaha Thundercat that I had a long time ago now. Back then I was a student at university. It was a bike that I was using for commuting at the time. Since then, quite a few bikes have gone through my hands. So worked for BMW for a time. Owned a R9T, BMW HP4, a couple of Ducatis, 749 and a Monster, and a Triumph Street Triple, a few bikes, and this is what I've ended up with. So pretty different to all the other bikes that I've had. I've never really owned an adventure bike before, but I really like the idea of it because from working at BMW and riding GS's a lot, company bikes, it opened my eyes up to having a full season to ride through rather than just using them on high days and dry days in the summer. So an adventure bike seemed like a really good choice. Opted for the 990 because I like the simplicity of it. KTM's have a bit of a wild side too, which I quite like. As much as it's an adventure bike, there are some things that make it pretty unique in the adventure world. So we've got proper off-road size wheels, 21-inch front, and it's a lot more narrow than most of the current adventure bikes. I think even the 1090R has got a wider front wheel, which is absolutely fine, but you'll find on most British green lanes, which are quite rutted, that you can quite easily get stuck in those ruts, and having a narrow wheel just makes it a bit easier. And there's the rear. So currently using Continental TKC80s, which I really rate. I haven't got much to compare them against, but off-road they seem to have surprising levels of grip. They really mask the size and weight of the bike. I'd estimate this is around 220 kilos, maybe 230, fully wet. So there we go. So it's good for an off-road. Road manners are really quite impressive as well. Not least because of the tyres. I'm sure if you had some proper road tyres they'd be a lot better, but I feel like it's worth the compromise just because it means you can do some more stuff with it. A friend of mine has also got a KTM adventure bike and we quite often do green laning. And it's surprising what you can get through. Because like I say, it's not small. It is a heavy bike, there's no getting away from that. So those of you familiar with these bikes, I know they have the LC8 990 motor. It's a really impressive engine, loads and loads of torque, loads and loads of peak power as well. Especially if you're off-road, it's overkill, to be honest with you. The bike has been down geared slightly, just to make it a bit more manageable. Off-road you find that the first gear is very tall, and doing that makes a really big difference and allows you to manage that power a bit better. So that's made a really big difference. Aside from that, it's pretty well standard. I've got a full luggage set which has never really been used with the bike. It's probably going to stay up in the garage until I sell it. And it does have some Leovint's cans as well. Sound great, they are a bit loud, to be honest. You feel fairly obnoxious when you're riding off-road. But there we go. You should probably invest in some baffles if you opt for these. So nothing's really gone wrong with the bike. You have to be a bit mindful of the location of the battery. It's basically underneath that bash plate, which is fine. It doesn't usually cause any issues, but I have had it where when you're doing water crossings and things like that, after a while it can start and make the terminals go a bit fuzzy. So you have to whip that bash plate off, which is a 5-minute job really, and give those a clean. But otherwise it's been fine. I've done probably around 4,000 miles on this bike in around 6 months, which is not a huge amount for me. It's probably more than most. Most of that has been off-road, and it's testament to the build quality that nothing's gone wrong really. It's just quite impressive. The only other thing that's slightly annoying is the this little cover here, It can, the mechanism is basically linked to the barrel on the seat that takes the seat off, and it seems that returning pin sometimes gets a bit stiff, which is why you can see there's actually a blob or a run of, I think, chain lube coming out of there from where I tried to free it up a bit, and it did work. But slightly annoying if you have a fuse go, they're underneath there, and sometimes it can be a pain to open it, to access those fuses. But there we go, it's been really good fun. I've loved the bike. Definitely a good way to dip your toe into the adventure market. You can pick these up now for about 4.5, 5 grand. And the nice thing with that is if you do go and drop it on a green lane, you feel a bit less precious about it, rather than if you have some brand new PCP'd massive adventure bike. The other thing that I've done is I've, as you can see, put these handguards on. They're pretty nasty. They were cheap, 30 quid handguards, but because it does quite often end up on its side, the idea is that they'll save the controls. I think the plastic ones would probably be adequate in most scenarios, but these do just give it a little bit more protection. And they have been used. It has been dropped quite a few times. You wouldn't necessarily notice because those bars and guards are really doing their job. So there we go. It's a really quick rundown of my bike. And yeah, we'll see how long I keep this one for, and maybe I'll do another video again soon. Thank you.